Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Kona 2 cast. Once again, I am joined here by my two good friends, Braden Korioth and Dakota Vega. We got a pretty packed episode here. Not a lot of league racing stuff, but definitely a lot of NASCAR news to talk about. So, how are you guys doing this fine evening?
I tell you what, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling a little bouncy.
I can tell. Nothing wrong with feeling a little bouncy. Dakota, how are you?
Just a little bouncy.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there? I feel that.
Getting spending my off time, spending my time away from the racetrack, doing a lot of paperwork for the hauling business and other. But
Yes, I mean, speaking
keeping uh
speaking of that,
keeping business strong, keeping it going. You know,
Speaking of time away from the racetrack, we don't have a lot of league news to talk about because most of the leagues
yeah.
that we race in are either off or had an off week. But Dakota, did you race in anything since last episode?
Let me check my calendar. Last episode would have been the 16th. Yeah, I have run two races
How'd those go?
in that time. A ninth and a fifth.
Great, great.
Ninth at Iowa in NASCAR TJ Smith's league.
Yep,
That was I was telling you guys about that on Friday night.
that's right.
Um, that was a pretty fun one. And it's got a couple stories, but the score ran at Portland
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday. That was a relatively small field, wasn't even 10 cars.
Yeah,
But I wasn't feeling super competitive in the car, and that was Marty's first time out in. No, it wasn't actually his first time out with us in score, but it was his first time with us on a road course. So
I'm sure Marty
we
brought
had
a great car. You know how Marty is
yeah,
with
the
his
car the car
setups.
was the car was good. The car was good. I just couldn't figure out where the time was on the racetrack.
Yeah.
So but it was a small field and people fell out relatively quickly. So I
Yep.
think you know in the end it wasn't. We put a good run together and we're still sitting second in the standings over there. So
Nice. Good to hear.
I don't expect that to last the rest of the season. I'm still
Understandable.
I'm still aiming top five. I'm still aiming top five, and I think that's something we can do if we can get to every race.
Well, I know
Um,
Braden doesn't usually race in things outside of our little couple that we have, but we are looking forward to NARL season 11. The season schedule just came out. We were talking about that, I think, last week or maybe the week before. Got a great, in my opinion, great schedule. Kicking it off at Daytona, of course, season finale at Atlanta. Seems like that's been the typical mainstays.
I'm
After
sorry.
Daytona, go for it, Braden. It seems he doesn't have anything to say. He's actually just dying on us.
I'm
he
dying
just has corona.
because I just took a
He's
big
got
rip.
COVID.
Oh yeah.
So I apologize.
Nice. God
After
bless.
after Daytona, we're heading out to California Auto Club, then Michigan. So we got two 2 mile tracks. California's a 2 mile or was a 2 mile, right?
Yes, it
So
is. Yeah.
two 2 mile speedways, followed up by Road America. So pretty solid road course. Then a couple short tracks with Myrtle Beach and
Oh,
New Hampshire. Then we're heading to Talladega, the high banks of Talladega. Then we head to Charlotte, Lowe's, and then a couple kind of oddball tracks. You got Nashville, Infineon, Pocono, and then finishing it off with Atlanta. So pretty
how are
good.
those oddball tracks?
Man, I love when people unironically call it
What?
Infineon.
That's what I'm saying.
How are those oddball
Well,
tracks?
you've got
That
Pocono.
just
It's
took
kind
me.
of unique. Nashville's a
That just
unique little
took me
short
so off
track.
guard. Because I thought you were about to name some crazy oddballs, like
No,
some real oddballs.
no, just some
Like
things that
Lime
kind
Rock.
of stand out. But yeah, pretty solid schedule. I think I'm looking forward to it. I think we're gonna we usually bring good super speedway cars to the big tracks, so hopefully, Braden, you are racing Daytona, correct?
Yeah, should be there.
So
I mean,
got a couple of Kona 2 cars heading to Daytona. We're getting those loaded up at the shop as we speak, so hopefully things go well there. Got a long race ahead of us, and then heading to Essex. Not exactly sure what track it will be yet. We're changing things up.
Possibly Topeka, possibly Road America,
Yep.
possibly God knows where.
It's gonna be a road
possibly
course.
Rainbow Road.
That's what we know, but
It could possibly be Rainbow Road as long as it's located in the eastern
I would take Rainbow Road over Watkins Glen any day of the week. I tell you what.
Well, I don't think it's going to be Watkins Glen again since we've already raced.
It's not going to
there,
be Watkins
but
Glen again.
it's definitely going to be a road course. The Kona 2 road course program is decent. We don't have amazing finishes there, but we'll try our best. We'll see what we can do, and yeah, I mean the season's winding down.
Interestingly enough, I believe road courses are one of my best average finishes.
Yeah, I mean I was actually looking at my stats. And mine are fine.
My average finish road courses are somehow my best track.
Wow, I mean mine are kind of
near
near the bottom, but they're decent.
Like, who the hell? Since when? Yeah, I'm in order: road courses, short tracks, speedways, and super speedways. I don't understand that.
So we'll see how we can do. I say there wasn't a lot to talk about, but we do have. It's old news now, but some breaking news.
It is old news
for Essex. Points leader Ace Lancelot was suspended after North Wilkesboro, which.
Oh
really...
my God! Oh my God! What? No way!
Amazing breaking news reaction.
Oh my God! What?
Breaking news reaction.
Championship implications.
The news broke after last week's episode, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we weren't sure what was going to happen yet. But yeah, really throws a wrench.
It was implied,
in points.
though.
It was implied.
It was heavily implied.
But yeah, it realistically, mathematically puts second through like fifth, maybe sixth into contention. So Dakota, myself, Kez Hiller, Braden, and Chase.
Don't even stop.
Now hold on. Realistically,
even,
you could get in. You could make it. You could win the championship mathematically. It's going to be difficult.
I don't even want to hear it.
If every other driver in the top 5 eats all the shit in the universe and Braden 84 points all of the last 3 races, then maybe he can win the championship.
I mean, we're talking me winning every week.
So Braden and Chase Severs are slightly out of the picture, but mathematically they could make it in. It is now down to Kez Hiller, Dakota Vega. Dakota, you are 2 points behind Kez, so that's going to be a fun battle to watch. Then me, I'm about 40, 50 points out, I think. So honestly, it's going to be fun to watch. I don't really want to be worrying about points as we head into the final 3 races, but it's definitely going to play a factor.
No matter what happens going into no matter what happens going into Elko, we will have a minimum 3-car championship fight.
Yes. Now I'm not sure how things will go
3-car championship
for Ace. I mean, they're going to drop 80 points basically, right?
It depends on the field size. We don't have a reaction thing up.
That's true.
Yet.
They're going to lose a lot.
If we had a reaction thing up, then I'd
a whole lot of yapping.
Gauge better.
Yeah, whole lot of yapping.
But, most likely I'll have some sort of. Most likely it'll be a 3-way thing.
Yes, it looks like it. So yeah, I mean,
3-way thing.
Whoa. Don't read into that line.
Really, that's about it for at least what we race in for leagues. But we have a lot.
That's kind of league racing as a whole.
we have a lot of NASCAR news to talk about. First
Oh,
of
yeah,
all,
brother.
we are heading to Dover, but our most recent race was Talladega. I know there's a lot to say about Talladega. I didn't watch the whole race, but I watched bits and pieces. I watched the highlights, so I kind of have an idea of what to say. But yeah, what did you guys think of Talladega?
Who's going first? I went first last week, so.
I'll go first. Um, let's start from the start and start with Arca. I'll give it a minute.
Okay.
Actually no, I can't give it a minute because there wasn't even a minute's worth of highlights.
It was just
Um,
I'm
no
so
cautions,
glad I
no
was asleep for
action.
that race. I could not be happier.
why is Arca at this point? Why is Arca?
Yeah,
I don't
why
get
is
it.
Arca?
Like that race, I don't know why Daytona races tend to be at least decent, and then they get to Talladega and they just shit the bed. And it's like I remember in 2020 when they went to Dega, it was like, wow, this race sucked because it was literally 75 laps of a 4-car single file train.
Yep.
But like this race, I feel was worse because it did not have the excuse. 2020 had the COVID excuse. It was the first ARCA race since COVID. It had an excuse to suck. This race had no excuse to be as bad as it was. Anyway, um, yet I'm still a fan of ARCA. I just want to see it do better.
Yeah.
Xfinity was actually probably the best race of the weekend, as it usually is. I
Yes.
think the fact that they could just go single file 2 wide or 3 wide at any point whenever they wanted and just did it was nice. And while Jesse Love may not have been the best option to, it may have not. Let me stop for a second. While Jesse Love Jr. may not have been the best, the favorite to win that race, obviously Brendan Poole.
Yeah.
Jesse definitely deserved that win, and I'm more honestly, I'm not a huge fan of his or like a fan of his in general, but I'm happy for him. But
Yeah.
God damn, it would have been so nice to see Brendan Poole get revenge.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my God, that would have been
Jesse
amazing.
Jesse ran a good race, had a
Jesse
good car,
deserved that.
led a lot of laps.
Jesse was great, but the top 10 coming to the overtime restart was just the most
It was insane.
scuffed thing you've ever seen. It was just the most scuffed thing.
Yeah. So from
And
one,
then there was the Cup
yes,
race
from one good race to the Cup
to
Series,
a race
a race
of all time.
Let's hear
Now
what you think.
I spent the entire most of the pre-race and most of the race defending what was going on the race, the 3
Yes,
wide
you
fuel
were.
saving and the 3 wideness. I was doing a lot of defending of that.
Yes, you were.
But by like stage 2, I was like, okay, this is kind of funny, but I don't care.
Yup.
It's a
But
facade.
here's the thing.
It's not real
Here's the
racing.
thing.
Yeah, they're 3 wide, but
Here's the thing, though. What you just said is the exact opposite of what I'm gonna say.
okay.
I would 10 times out of 10 would rather watch them fuel save 3 by 10 than watch them fuel save 1 by 30. I don't give a damn if they're fuel saving. If they're 3 wide, it looks badass.
See,
It looks
listen,
badass when they're 3 wide all
I
the
get
way.
that.
It doesn't matter at that point.
My thoughts about
It just looks good.
my thoughts about it are like different, but for like a different reason. So like, let me
I
lay
get
this.
that.
Let me lay this out here, okay?
Lay it out.
Look. So
Break it down.
with these stages, right? Well, okay, wait. I gotta start from a different point here. I gotta figure out how I wanna. Like I said, I gotta lay this out here. It's a big plan I got out here. So, right, they're saving fuel. They're like almost 10 miles an hour off pace, 3 by 3 by 3.
Yep.
Here's the thing:
They're running
people think that's super lame, but they mainly think it's super lame because they think the cars can't pass. They think you can't pass. Whenever I believe
Right.
they can pass still. I think they can still pass.
They spent the first 15 laps of the race blatantly showing that.
And at the end of the race, that third lane was literally there, but mixed with the fact that Ty Gibbs was an awful line leader,
completely ruined the momentum.
But it's also the fact that the drivers are just giant and they panic. So that top lane starts to slow down, right? And then you see 2 or 3 guys just pull it down to the middle. Where do you guys think you're even going?
Yeah.
You're going to the middle to go where? Nowhere. You're still 20th place. I mean, are we joking? Are we joking, guys?
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from.
You guys are going to complain about not being able to pass with these cars and then not even try? Just give up? Because if they kept that line together, there's still 9 to 10 cars in that line. All they need is a few more corners, and then they'll build the momentum back up.
Yeah.
And I think it happened with 3 laps to go. Or I think it was either 2 or 3. But still, why?
I mean, they didn't really have. I don't know if they had the corners to build it back up.
But they just pulled down to the second lane and they just gave up. They're oh, okay. Instead of trying to do something, I'm just gonna finish 30th place because why not? I've been riding around in this car, sweating my balls off for 5 hours. Let me just give up.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see both of your arguments. I definitely see it. For me, it's just.
I will say, for me to finish off, because I never really stated my opinion on the fuel saving.
Yeah,
that's what everyone's bickering about. I really don't care. It's either they sit in a single file line to finish the race, because the thing with the single file line is they just do that in log laps, get to the end of the race, right? Because they hate plate racing.
Yeah.
And then now they're just saving fuel, and they're saving fuel because of the stage breaks. They know how to strategize around it. They they don't actually have to make a real strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with what Dakota was saying, and that I would much rather prefer seeing them 3x10 than 1x30. It's just, wasn't it a few years ago NASCAR implemented the 100% rule? You have to be going 100%.
I saw something about that rule, and I saw a comment on that rule. It's just the fact that they are still 100% trying. They're strategizing to finish the race.
It's just a different way of trying, and it's I don't know. It's just I really miss Gen 6 plate racing.
I'm not going to lie. After this week, I've seen a lot of people just start bashing the next gen car because I feel like a lot of pressure has been building up on it after a few of these mad races we've had. And I feel like finally that energy just kind of broke up and people really started to, just curb stomping the next gen car. Yeah. And I'm starting to really realize and see through the car kind of sucks.
The car sucks.
I'm not going to lie. The car really does suck.
It does suck. I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. I don't think it's a sport ender. I don't think it's
no. I feel like the reason I'm not panicking over it and being oh my god, our sport's gonna die. The car sucks. They have so many blueprints to build a good. They already have the best racing car ever in the history of the sport and the series below it. The Xfinity car is the greatest racing stock car of all time. You cannot prove me wrong.
That's probably a hot take, but I agree with you. I think the Xfinity car...
That thing produces... It's good. Xfinity is must-watch every goddamn weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Every Saturday afternoon. If you're not sitting down and watching Xfinity, you're missing out on something.
Yeah, I mean, it is always consistently the best race of the weekend. It took everything from the COT, because it's basically just a COT. It's a car of tomorrow. And all the good parts of a Gen 6
modernized version of that I didn't ever really thought about it like this, but it's literally the same car they introduced in 2010.
Yeah.
Just it's very slight different body edges and all that, and the different manufacturers and different cars and all that, updated models.
It's
the same exact car.
It's kind of a weird comparison because it's not exactly it. But when I first got into the sport and I was collecting diecast, I had Dale Jr. 2008 COT diecast, and I had an Xfinity diecast. I think it was a Noah Gragson 2020 diecast. And I looked at him and I was like, this is the same car. The profile is the same, because it is. the COT was heavily scrutinized and for good reason, but look what it made. It made the current day Xfinity car, which is amazing. And NASCAR has
Hey, y'all got a
changed.
copy?
Yeah, we hear you. I saw your
All right.
headphones, Dad. We're just yapping about
Yep,
the Xfinity car.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can I butt into this for a second?
Go for it.
The car of tomorrow, despite this is gonna be my counter hot take.
Okay.
The Braden's hot take that the current Xfinity car is the greatest stock car ever made.
Yep.
The car of tomorrow, after 2010, when they got rid of the stupid big splitter and smoothed out the front ends of the cars, those 2 years of Cup car, those are the greatest stock cars ever made.
I mean, hell, they were making Indianapolis look good. The Brickyard.
They were making
everything. They were making that place look good.
Everything good.
When I go back and I watch
if we're gonna glaze the 2011, 2012 COTs, I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
That is my favorite car ever. Literally, that is my favorite
They're
car.
the best. They were the best. I mean, look at 2012. What was there? Every track type that season had a classic race.
Even the tandem drafting, it was at its peak. It was still It was still fun to watch.
2012 the super speedways had the Talladega Classic. The road courses had Watkins Glen.
Mm-hmm.
The speedways had, I mean, pick any.
Man,
like pick your favorite at that point.
Speaking of road courses, man,
short tracks.
That time frame for road course races, dude. Oh man.
I mean, you've got some classic.
From like 2000,
finishes.
from like 2007 to 2012.
I would say 2016. I'd say the span. I'd say it's actually a pretty long timeline, actually. Because I mean, you had the Allmendinger race at Watkins Glen, then you had the Tony Stewart win versus Hamlin. That was like the last great Sonoma moment we've had.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's a decently. It's like 10 years, about a decade, and man, I feel like that really.
Oh, we have.
That really like.
We
just
might have a surprise guest
overhyped.
here, gentlemen.
It overhyped road courses.
We have a silent guest.
They are currently muted, but Kez Hiller
we have a silent guest in the recording
has joined
booth.
the studio.
Just walked into the room while we were recording.
We'll see if they have anything
walked
to
on
say.
in with a coffee.
We're always open to having guests.
I was just gonna observe, but if you guys really want me to,
welcome in.
We just got our first radio
surprise
caller.
Guest, Kez Hiller. We got
a radio call in.
We are currently glazing the 2010-2011 COT and the current day Xfinity car and how it is the best car ever made.
Now we're getting off schedule. We're getting behind schedule here.
We're car of tomorrow glazing.
We are.
We're getting behind schedule.
Let's see what Kez has to say about the COT and
what do you think about the late car tomorrow, like 2011-12?
Oh my god. I'm gonna be honest, I hardly even remember that era.
Fair enough.
Like, I was watching at that point, but most of those seasons are just kind of blocked out of my brain.
That makes sense.
That shit's ingrained into my brain, dude. I remember waking up on like a Sunday morning, dude. My family's cooking breakfast. The epic, the old pre-race Fox for like old Fox pre-races.
Oh, dude, race day with Kenny Wallace and John
with Kenny W, KW,
and all the boys.
And they had Ian Malcolm or whatever his name is.
I'm not even gonna lie. I usually forget a season as soon as
I totally just butchered the name, dude.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm with you.
I just butchered that name. Who am I talking about? Dude, he was Dale Earnhardt's old crew chief.
I mean, besides my driver, Brian Blaine,
Larry McReynolds?
Not McReynolds. No, not him.
Dale Earnhardt's old crew chief that isn't Larry McReynolds? God,
Dude,
I don't know.
I don't remember.
He had blue eyes and his hair was like slicked to the side.
No.
I don't know.
Oh,
God, I don't know.
Dude.
Maybe it'll come to us. But like Braden said, we are getting sidetracked.
We are, yeah.
Super
This started at-
sidetrack.
this
It's
started at
gnarly.
Xfinity.
Tyler Reddick wins Talladega after
Oh my god,
Michael
I did
Mc-
his name up.
throws
Oh my
a
God, I
very late
butchered.
block.
Jeff Hammond.
Jeff Hammond. Okay.
So,
All right, we
yes.
got that one out of the way.
Michael McDowell throws a late block on Brad Keselowski and gets wrecked. Tyler Reddick wins, and it's his first win of the season. He's locked into the playoffs. What do you guys think of the finish?
I think Brad ironically got revenge for the 2021 Daytona 500.
Maybe, yeah.
Ironically, not by complete coincidence,
Yeah,
and
by
also by Michael
coincidence, but
McDowell's
yeah.
own suicide.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, see, people are freaking out over Michael McDowell's block. It wasn't on the level of Joey Logano where it
No.
wipes out half the field.
I think now this is sim racing, not real stock car racing.
I'm gonna be real.
Go ahead,
If
guys.
I didn't really think Michael McDowell's block was that horrible because I think he was clear. The problem is he tried to do it so fast that he just completely lost control by himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had to do
Yeah.
it fast because the gap was closing. Because
But-
if he did it any slower,
yeah.
that he wasn't going to be clear.
What I was going to say is I know it's sim racing, so it's a little different. The stakes are different, obviously. It's just a video game. But it honestly kind of reminds me of Kart Season 6 Daytona when I threw a block on Braden at the backstretch. It's the last lap. You're coming to the checkered. You want to stay up front. So I think McDowell did what he did because he felt like he had to. If it was me, like sim racing, I'd throw that block. Yeah, like I'd probably get wrecked too, but you know, like you're coming to it's a race win. You want to win, especially with this format. It's hard in this car. It's hard to get wins. So I think McDowell did exactly what he should have done and tried to fight for his position.
I don't think McDowell necessarily did anything wrong,
No.
but I think he certainly gave it a little bit too much.
A little bit too much.
But not in vain.
Yeah. So earlier in the race, you have the Toyotas attempting a strategy, and it ends up failing, and they all wreck. Not all of them, but you know, there's a pretty significant wreck in turn 3, involving John Hunter Nemechek, Bubba Wallace, and Denny Hamlin, and most importantly, Eric Jones, who actually suffered a spinal injury, a spinal fracture. So Corey Heim is actually going to be making his NASCAR Cup Series debut this weekend at Dover in the 43 car.
That is insane to me because I
Same.
literally remember watching him from the stands in the ARCA race at Charlotte just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I remember him not being old enough to go run Daytona.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when he wasn't old enough to run Daytona, and now he's running Cup.
Yeah. It's he's
Like
21
that's
years old.
insane to me.
21.
Besides Ty Gibbs, maybe this might be the fastest I've seen someone move up to Cup
Yeah.
from
And
ARCA.
he's on a slow burn career path too.
Yeah, he
Lest
is.
we forget. He could have been in Xfinity. He could have been in Xfinity full time last year if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's after
We were talking about Corey Heim
Heim.
subbing in for Eric
He
Jones.
could have
this
full
weekend.
time.
Corey Heim.
He could have gone to full time trucks in 22, and then full time Xfinity in 23, and then. But he's taking it very slowly.
And I respect it.
I love it. I think it's a good thing when drivers are taking a little bit more time, you know, instead of just going one season in ARCA, one season in trucks, one season in Xfinity, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Take
Take
two
your
seasons
time.
in ARCA, take 2 truck seasons, take 2 Xfinity seasons.
You know,
There's
there's a few
nothing wrong
guys
with
out
it.
there. There's a few guys out there that kind of beat that. There's a few guys out there.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Listen,
There's nothing
there's a
wrong
few
with a
guys
Ty
out there
Gibbs.
that can do it. There's just these.
There's nothing wrong with a Ty Gibbs or something of that sort.
Or a Chase Elliott.
No.
Quite
Maybe
the
a-
opposite.
No,
but
there's
I
nothing
think
Chase
there's
Elliott,
nothing wrong with that.
19-time winner, won championship. Chase Elliott, Chase Elliott.
Yep.
okay.
2014
if Braden,
Xfinity champ.
if Braden could shut up about Chase Elliott for a second, I could make my point. But
Let's hear it.
quite the
Kez.
opposite. I think there are some drivers who need to realize they're not quite cut out for Cup, and they should just run a career in a lower series. Because you remember when
Corey
a lot of
LaJoie.
drivers will do that,
Yeah.
and
See
Yeah.
Elliott Sadler,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
who
like
mastered it.
I think, at least in the top 3
Eric
divisions,
Almirola.
one of the only drivers I can think of who's run his entire career in a lower level is someone like Matt Crafton.
Allgaier.
Matt Crafton,
Yeah,
Allgaier. He had a couple
Allgaier
seasons
too.
in Cup.
Allgaier's dipped his toes in Cup, but yeah, like.
He dipped his toes in Cup with H. Scott in like 14 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like
to go nowhere.
And I feel like Ty Dillon kind of has a bad reputation because he tried to stay in Cup when he's just not really fit for it.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
completely honest here. He's not fit for either of the top series of NASCAR.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ty Dillon. Now that he's out of Cup, now that spotlight of why exactly are you still here now has to go to someone, and it's on this season. It's on Corey LaJoie
It is.
because
It is.
outside of super speedways and strategy plays in the middle of stage 2, what does he do?
I mean,
What does he do all day? Like he's getting relatively consistently beat out by Hocevar. And even Zane's been able to pull a couple over on him, and Zane has been frankly struggling badly, which is okay, I think.
I'd
But-
argue the 71 may be the worst Spire car to be in.
I'd
It definitely
argue
is,
right
because
now
it's a new-
the 71
new
might be the
driver,
worst car in the field to be in.
I think it is
You know
just
what? You know
because
what? You might be right. I mean, but besides the 78 and those few starts it makes.
Hey, BJ, when he was
Right.
leading that, did he lead a lap?
BJ led
BJ
laps.
led laps at
BJ led
Talladega.
laps.
Laps, plural.
He led, yeah, I'll take it back.
The 78 has been pretty impressive on plate tracks this season, but usually otherwise it's
It's nothing to take
Struggle.
home about. But yeah, so Corey Heim
5 laps led.
making his Cup Series debut at Dover. How do we think he will do?
Probably not very good.
I mean, look, Dover's a
Here's-
difficult
I'm gonna
track, but the 43
why I say that.
is a decent car in the field this season. It's a decent
Dude,
car.
listen, those
Yeah.
Cup cars. I can only imagine. You're already driving at Dover,
Yeah.
and now you're using these Cup cars that get aero tight like none other car you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. And here's the,
I mean,
here's,
these
here's
things.
the
I
thing.
can only imagine how bad the next gens drive at Dover, especially on the concrete. I can only imagine how bad they are.
Yeah.
And
It's gotta
here's
feel
the-
like you're
here's the thing.
driving. I can't even explain it.
My expectations for him, and I mean this in the best way, I have none because there shouldn't be any. This is an emergency call up. He shouldn't really have any expectations other than just
Yeah.
he shouldn't have the weight of expectation put on him in an emergency surprise. You're in the car this week. You're in a Cup car this week.
Mm-hmm.
and you
Here's
bring
20
that
minutes
up.
of practice.
You bring that up, and it makes me worry that people are going to be really hard on him, even though they're going to have really high expectations for him. But don't be surprised if he ends up finishing somewhere from like 25th to 30th.
If he gets
Yeah,
the car
I agree
across
with
the
Kez.
finish line, that's an ultimate success.
Exactly. If he finishes, that's a fantastic run.
I
And
honestly
he doesn't even have to finish on the lead lap or even one down. If he can get a Cup car through 400 laps at Dover, that's a readiness test.
yeah. it
Dover,
is.
especially. Jesus
that would-
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else to say about Talladega or Corey Heim? Any recap that we want to cover quick?
I don't think so. I guess my finalization of it would be I don't care about fuel saving and people can
I wish we didn't have fuel saving, but I don't know if there's anything we can do about it.
Yeah.
Is what I'd leave it at. There really isn't anything we can do other than yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like, what do you do about that? Is the question, and I don't think we have an answer.
Yeah. So moving on from Talladega,
Moving on.
we have the Hall of Fame nominees were announced today.
Oh,
So on our modern era
So let's
ballot,
have this debate.
we have Neil Bonnet, Tim Brewer, Jeff Burton, Randy Dorton, Carl Edwards, Harry Gant, Harry Hyde, Ricky Rudd, and Jack Sprague. On the Pioneer ballot, you have Ray Hendrick, Banjo Matthews, Ralph Moody, Larry Phillips, and Bob Wellborn. That's all that we really need to talk about. I mean, there's
Greg
the
Biffle is
landmark
also
award.
in the.
And yes, Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle's also in the.
I don't know why he
modern
isn't
class.
on my list here, but yes, Greg Biffle is also a part of the modern era ballot.
Did you mention this landmark award? I didn't even see this.
Yeah, the landmark award is Alvin Hawkins, Lisa France Kennedy, Dr. Joseph Mattioli. I hope I didn't say that wrong. Dr. Dean Sicking and Les Richter. So,
dude, these are some incredible people. Inventor of the safer barrier.
Yes, they are. But for
founder of Pocono,
for what we're talking about,
NASCAR's first flagman.
Yes, but what we are talking
NASCAR
about,
racing at Bowman, dude.
What we're talking about.
Wait, these guys are actually like
to
pillars
modern
of
era
the
and Pioneer.
Sports.
So, if Braden wants to pick someone off the landmark award, go for it.
Oh,
but
dude, I mean, it's almost impossible.
Yes.
NASCAR's first flagman established NASCAR racing at Bowman Gray Stadium with Bill France Sr.
Yes.
The founder of Pocono Raceway, the inventor of the safer barrier.
The landmark award is actually probably the most stacked one, but I think they're all stacked.
So
listen, for a landmark award, how do you not go Dr. Dean Sicking, inventor of the safer barrier? I mean, how many lives?
I could agree with that. He's saved a lot of lives.
I mean, I support. I'm kind of with Dr. Mattioli because he created Pocono, but I think the invention of the safer barrier. I mean,
genuinely,
outside of this. Go ahead, Kez.
There are some people there are some drivers who should not still be here, but they are because of the safer barrier.
Yeah, I mean.
Yes,
I mean
exactly.
I don't want to be.
Besides the Hans device, what other safety measure has saved the most lives?
Safer
when you really think about it.
I mean,
the safer barrier.
Just in
it's the Hans device and the
memory,
safer barrier.
how many times
even with the Hans device, dude, no safer barrier, your rib cage is gonna get caved in.
Yeah, I mean, just recent memory.
Big trouble.
Think how many times has Ryan Blaney dodged death at Daytona?
Jeez.
I mean,
new topic. Jesus.
That concrete wall he smacked at Nashville last year.
Yeah.
He didn't hit that with a lot of speed, but he hit that wall
hurt.
a ton.
All right, so the modern era ballot, 2 people off this ballot will make it in. Let's just kind of see what we think.
So Braden, you said you had somebody you thought was the given.
Yeah, so listen.
Who do you think is the given?
So last year in the voting, these guys, they didn't get screwed over, but it's just one of those years where you don't have a chance because it was Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus.
Yeah.
Like obviously nobody's getting past them.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And last year, Harry Gant was 3rd and Ricky Rudd was 4th. Harry Gant is a Hall of Famer. Book it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Harry Gant's
on my list.
Harry Gant is my given.
But for this second spot, I'm lost.
No, though.
For this second spot, I'm lost, and it's between 2 people. It's between Ricky Rudd and Neil Bonnet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 I'm thinking of. Neil Bonnet and Ricky Rudd.
On the fence with. I think if I was voting this year, and if I was voting this year and next year, I'm voting Gant and Bonnet in this year.
Okay.
And then next year, I'm voting in Sprague and Biffle.
Next year, I would vote in Burton and then Sprague.
So
Sprague's an icon. Sprague's an icon of the Truck Series, though.
for
That's the
me,
thing.
He's one of you got your Jack Spragues, you've got your
Yeah.
Greg Biffles, and then you've got your Ron Hortadays.
for me this year, Harry Gant, and then Jeff Burton is my pick this year.
Jeff Burton, okay, I mean that's respectable.
Okay.
Jeff
I mean,
Burton
look at the stats.
I get it. I'm with
Jeff
that.
Burton is
Look at the stats.
he's kind of, in my opinion, the slept-on
I
guy.
will look at the stats.
I mean, I think he's a great announcer for NBC. He is the head
think
of the driver council, so he speaks for all the drivers. He had a solid career. I think Jeff Burton would be my pick.
He's super underrated.
Next year, I'd probably go Neil Bonnet, and I want to say Carl Edwards, but Jack Sprague would probably.
Carl has
beat
to.
him
I think
out
Carl
slightly.
is going to get in, but he's
Sprague
got to wait
deserves
longer.
it.
Carl's got to wait
Sprague-
longer.
Sprague deserves
Sprague
it.
deserves it, and that's why I'm on the fence. That's why if I had to throw a wild card vote in this year, my wild card would be Sprague.
Yeah.
If it was Sprague, I wouldn't mind at all. Honestly,
He's an extremely influential.
maybe he should be one of my
part of the
picks,
Truck
but just
Series.
based off the fact that Harry Gant and Ricky Rudd were 3rd and 4th last year, I'm just going to go with Gant and then Bonnet.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Gant and Rudd, but
Yeah.
I'm
Probably.
just going with Gant and Bonnet
So
because I really want Bonnet. I've always been obsessed with Neil Bonnet. I
Yeah.
love Neil Bonnet.
the Pioneer ballot, one nominee gets in: Ray Hendrick, Banjo Matthews, Ralph Moody, Larry Phillips, and Bob Welborn.
I'm going to be completely honest. I really don't know too much about any of these people.
I don't either. So I don't have a pick here.
Of them, what I know of them, Larry Phillips got into the 75 last year,
Yes, he did. He
and that was
won.
he has this ridiculous number of short track wins.
Yeah, I think he won
But the
5
reason
regional
I've-
series championships, something like that.
I'll take a look at him. Here.
5 first-time
Um,
NASCAR Weekly Series national champion.
Okay, weekly series. Okay, you know what? I think that's a good nominee for a
Bob Welborn. That name sort of sounds familiar. 3-time
Bob
convertible
Welborn.
division champion.
Okay, yeah, he was the convertible guy in the 50s.
Banjo Matthews is just some
Ralph Moody.
crazy
Ralph
car
Moody
builder.
was a seminal name in the 60s, which is why I kind of have him on my radar for that pick.
If I was to look at these
He
guys,
was a very well-known name in that time. And
I think
but
you gotta go
Harry
with-
Hyde was extremely successful.
Ralph Moody and this Ray Hendrick guy won over 700 times in NASCAR modified and late model sportsman.
Wow.
Holy,
So yeah,
that guy's a beast.
It's hard to pick just because there's only one.
yeah,
Oh, there's only one. Oh, jeez. Well, then I've got
You
no
can
idea.
only pick one.
yeah. You can only pick.
I'm
one.
gonna say Harry Hyde.
Okay.
He had more influence. He was there. While I have infinite respect for Larry and Hendrick's short track accomplishments, there's a reason that when Larry Phillips was put on the 75, everybody was like, "Who is Larry Phillips?" Those things don't get covered enough. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They absolutely do. But Harry Hyde was a Cup championship caliber crew chief.
Yeah.
And that's he won Cup champion. He was a Cup championship crew chief. And he was that caliber for 30 years. From the 60s to the 90s. So I would say he was, and not only that, but also he inspired Days of Thunder, according to the Hall of Fame website, which is I think that's Hall of Fame enough.
Yeah.
God, man,
I mean,
Days of Thunder. I rewatched that movie not too long
Inspired
ago.
Days of Thunder, Cup championships,
That movie
56
sucks.
wins as a crew chief. I have to say,
I don't know
Harry
how
Hyde.
many people. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, but I know a lot of people love that movie. That movie sucks.
Days of
It's
Thunder.
so bad.
I've
It's
never
awful.
seen it, and I don't really care to.
I've seen it a
Like,
few
I
times.
like corny movies, but that movie's just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just awful. It's
I've
just bad.
I've seen it a few times, and it's
Yeah.
corny and it's definitely aged, but it's a fun watch.
It is.
It's
I'm sure.
it's just aged, and it's corny. But yeah, so
Talladega Nights, though, I mean,
yeah, Talladega
I'll watch
Nights,
that
I
anytime,
will
any
too.
day, any week.
Don't get me
And
started
I
on
hate it
cars.
because it's the ultimate stereotype of a NASCAR fan,
Yeah.
and I still love it.
So anything else?
That's the exact reason I hate that movie.
Dude, I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
It's just a string of stereotypes, and I can't.
It's a guilty watch, I
stand
tell
it.
you what. It's an absolutely filthy, guilty little pleasure of mine. I'm such a naughty little boy for liking that movie, I tell you what.
All right.
I'm a dirty little one for liking
All
that.
right.
What the
So
bar?
anything else for the Hall of Fame? Or
I guess not.
I think we covered just
I
about
think we've
everything.
got our nominees.
So let's talk a couple more NASCAR things, and then if we've got time, we'll go into one last topic. News broke. Adam Stern on Twitter/X broke the news that Kroger may be leaving JTG Doherty for Joe Gibbs Racing
Oh, yes, I heard this.
next season as I think an ownership shuffle at JTG.
Yeah, I believe that there's something going on at Kroger, and the God, what's their fucking JTG, the whatever their last names are, the people that own the
Basically,
team
the
are
JTG would be
being.
gone.
I think they're being shuffled. I think they're being shuffled out of ownership there, which
Yeah,
could put that team at risk.
it could.
And probably
That team is just so cooked. I mean, it's...
and that team's already kind of just there.
Yeah, they're the
I don't think
definition
I
of
would
a
have.
Out of-
I don't think I would have.
field
You know,
floor.
Yeah, I don't think I
whenever...
would have ever expected them to be. I don't know if I would have
Listen.
ever expected them to throw their charter up for sale.
Whenever
And
it
I'm not
was
saying they
first
would, but-
announced, like whenever it was first really told to people that the next gen would really make the smaller teams like super competitive in a way, I feel like one of the number one teams that would have been eligible for that would have been JTG, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They have an absolute BS 500 win. I like Ricky Sten. I'm one of the few people that somewhat likes Ricky Stenhouse,
Hmm.
but I mean, let's be honest, he's not
He's
he's not Superman.
He's-
He's only got
He's
plate
not.
wins.
think
I mean, he's
cup-
literally
I think
the
he's cup
definition.
level, but
He's the definition of a plate, I don't even, like a plate track farmer.
Yeah,
I mean, he's literally the
track farmer.
definition.
I agree.
And the 500 win is just total BS.
Now,
Sure.
Brad Doherty is a big fan of NASCAR. He's liked it his whole life. I could see him trying to stick around. I could see
him moving his own. I could see him moving his stake in that team to another team.
Yes.
Basically, what I'm just saying is like, I don't really care what happens to them because they're not going anywhere. Allmendinger doesn't drive for them anymore.
It's not that I don't care what happens to them. I would be sad to see them go, but it's not like we'd notice every week.
Yeah, I honestly
it's not like Jimmy Johnson not being at the track
Yeah,
every week, or
it's-
Kevin Harvick not being on the track every week. Like
Yeah.
I won't notice every week.
Mhm.
And maybe that charter goes. Hell, what if Dale Earnhardt Jr. buys it? I mean,
Now that's a name I've seen thrown around. Is
it's been thrown around
It'll
for the last
probably be
few years.
Trackhouse.
this?
It's a name
Yeah,
that's been thrown around for the last
Trackhouse.
few
Trackhouse is
years.
probably just going to buy the team. Trackhouse is
Junior
probably just going
said-
to buy JTG.
That would be unreal
I-
because they already did it to Ganassi.
I could honestly,
Yeah, why wouldn't
realistically
they do it?
see that.
Man,
Why
it's
wouldn't they do it
so
again?
unfortunate
Trackhouse,
Junior
they don't
can't
do
do it because I mean Junior said so many times how expensive it is.
Yep.
And oh my God, dude, JL Junior in the Cup Series, oh, that's something that would really like hash. That would,
the 71,
like quote
the 71
unquote, that would
charter-
be something that would save our sport in a way. Even though I don't think NASCAR's dead, but a lot of people do
The
compared to what it used to be.
charter cost the 71 charter cost $40 million. That is
Yeah,
a
insane.
vastly unnecessary amount of
I
money.
mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the whole
insane.
point of the
And
charters is
just
for all these
for
rich ass
the
people to make
record-
money. That's all it is.
just for the record, the 45's charter when it was bought at the end of 2021
Mhm.
we were losing our minds over that because that charter was apparently $13 million.
Yeah, look at it now.
How does the price of a charter almost triple?
Listen, we're not gonna. Let's not
In
get.
2
I want to.
years. How
I
does
could
that
say
happen?
something. I could say something,
Like
but
we can
we're
have a
not
whole
bringing
episode
politics
about that
here.
if we wanted to.
We're not bringing politics into this, okay? Because I mean, I feel like the answer's pretty obvious, but we're not gonna talk about it.
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Kroger is wanting to stick around, because I mean,
Yeah.
the thought of another big name brand leaving hurts. So I'm glad Kroger's invested, and obviously moving to Joe Gibbs is gonna be great for them. They'll definitely
Hopefully, they
be in
don't bring
victory
over the
lane.
paint schemes.
That's true. But
Don't bring over those paint schemes.
I mean,
I
could
mean,
see.
that's just kind of Kroger's thing. As long as they move the hood logo back to where
Yeah.
God intended it to go, then I don't give a damn.
So, yeah, I hope, for me personally, I hope JTG Doherty doesn't go anywhere, just because I feel like I like seeing them on the track, but it's also
I don't necessarily want them to leave, but I would, yeah, like I would love to see them stay. They're a nice little team to just kind of have and just kind of pop up every couple of races. Like every 2 months, Ricky Stenhouse will just like pull an 8th place run out of his ass, and it's like, oh hey Ricky, forgot you could actually do this.
yeah. So
Forgot you were even here.
one last bit of news for NASCAR. We have the All-Star Race format released for North Wilkesboro.
Oh,
So
was already-
eligibility.
Yeah.
You've got the 2023 and 2024 NASCAR Cup Series points race winners are allowed in. Past All-Star Race winners who compete full-time are allowed in. NASCAR Cup Series champions who compete full-time are also allowed in. So, typical eligibility. But what the big thing here is that they are bringing 2 types of tires. You have your regular tire that we always bring, and then we have the option tire, which will have red Goodyear lettering, which is kind of cool.
It's gonna look cool.
This tire is the treaded wet weather rain tire, but made as a slick, so we might see some tire fall off. What do you guys think about that?
That's interesting.
Is that what it is? It's the wet weather tire without the grooves.
It is the wet weather tire.
And I mean,
made
that
as a
thing falls
slick
apart.
tire.
Have they tested that?
If they have, I don't know.
I'm assuming that the tire test they did.
I'm assuming they have tested
like a month or 2 ago. I'm pretty sure that's what that was about. If that's the case.
So yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting. This is something
interesting
they've
for
tried
sure.
before. Was it the 2019
Did they?
Charlotte All-Star race they tried alternates?
Did they actually?
Something like that.
Or one of the late 2010 All-Star races they tried
I
bringing
do not
multiple
remember that.
compounds.
Maybe it was probably 18. They did a bunch of whack shit in 18.
Yeah. So it'll definitely make for some strategy. All cars have to start on the regular tire. I could be getting that wrong. All cars must start on option
I
tire,
believe they have
actually.
to start. I believe. Okay.
And then it's up to them on when they want to change.
Is there a halfway caution or is it 200 laps
Yes,
straight
there
away?
is a halfway caution at
Okay.
lap 100, and all teams must do a 4-tire pit stop. But they are allowed to switch tires whenever they'd like.
Yeah.
So this is I'll give NASCAR credit. They keep trying aero changes on the short track package, and that's not going to do anything. So I applaud NASCAR for actually trying to work with Goodyear and try something different that isn't aero. Because obviously they aren't going to try anything with the horsepower in the near future. So this is something. I mean, this is something.
I'm interested in how this plays out because the wet tire was only there. I don't know because I don't know what a wet tire without the grooves even means. Like, what does that? How does that make it different than a slick?
It's
Like what?
The
How does
the
is there?
chemicals
I don't know what
that they use, the compound, that kind of stuff. So
I honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing how
it could
and
it
how
could
the presence of the option tire, let alone its effect on the race. I think just
yeah.
having the option tire sitting in the pits
So
will have an effect on the
obviously,
way the race plays out.
the only concern I have with this is if it does wear out the way it should, it's going to have more grip. But if the fall off is significant enough, they might just all switch to the prime tire, and
So we may just end up we may just end up with the exact same race we were getting anyways.
yeah, which would suck.
And
but,
honestly, we might
yeah,
because they might. That was Kez. We might just get them. They might just at the halfway they might just throw a set of they might just throw a standard set of tires on and just say let's just have a race.
yeah. So
And
I'll be
that's
honest.
gonna be unfortunate, but I guess half an interesting All-Star race is better than
Yeah.
none of an interesting All-Star race.
I'm definitely curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, me too.
But you never know. So we've got a little bit of time left, so that's really it for NASCAR news. But we'll hop over to IndyCar really quick. It was
Okay.
announced today that the winner and third place finisher of the Long Beach Grand Prix, Long Beach, I think, could be wrong.
It was St. Petersburg,
St.
actually.
Petersburg.
From over a month ago.
Have been disqualified for having their push
it's
to
over a
pass
month ago?
activated during.
Yeah, this was this
qualifying
race was
stuff.
March 10th, Braden.
Oh wait, St. Petersburg was the first race of the year.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So let's break this down because I've done a little bit more looking into this.
Okay.
Than I assume you guys have.
Yeah.
So
I haven't really looked into it.
what I've gotten from this is that at St. Petersburg, or before the start of the season, they were doing preseason testing with the new hybrid system, and they had an unrestricted push to pass system.
Oh, yep.
In the testing, just because they didn't need to have the formal race restrictions.
Yeah.
They took the cars to St. Pete and forgot that they had an unrestricted push to pass system on their cars.
That'll do it.
Now, the push to pass system that they had didn't give them more power or more push to pass, but what it did was allow them to use push to pass on a restart, which isn't allowed.
Yeah.
So on restarts, Newgarden and McLaughlin on the first lap were able to make passes. Actually, McLaughlin actually came out and said that he didn't gain any advantage. That he only used 2 seconds of illegal push to pass and gained no advantage from it.
Okay.
But
yeah, I was going to ask if they actually used it. Or
Newgarden did use it to make an overtake.
Okay.
When he wasn't supposed to have
push to pass.
Push to pass. Will Power had the same illegal system, but he actually never used it.
So yeah, I saw he only got
a minor points penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, a minor point penalty. But Newgarden and McLaughlin were disqualified because they did use it.
Yeah.
Although not significantly.
But they used it. So.
But they used it, and somehow they figured this out during Long Beach warm up.
Yeah. So they looked back and bam, caught ya. Over a month later. So.
A month. I don't know.
Little crazy.
And it came like completely out of nowhere.
I mean, I don't really follow IndyCar, but obviously this news was going around, making its way around the racing community. So
usually because something like that would have been resolved, I don't know, a month ago.
Yeah, you'd think, but
so for this, when I first read the news, I was like, Joseph Newgarden disqualified for illegal push to pass paddle awards the winner, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's fine, like, and I was like, wait a minute,
this was
Scott Dixon won Long Beach
over a month ago.
Scott Dixon won. Wait, no, Scott Dixon won Long Beach. Just Pato O'Ward couldn't have won this race. And I right again, I was like, CP. I was like, wait, they delayed that a month. I was like,
Yeah.
I know IMSA and WEC get shit for like late penalties and disqualifications and shit, but that is more or less the most extensive case of delayed penalizing.
So pretty interesting stuff.
We had quite a week of
interesting stuff.
Quite a week of on track of real life on track.
Yeah, real life on track stuff. So looking ahead, we have NARL Season 11 is making its debut at Daytona. Essex is going road course racing.
Essex is closing up,
ending the season soon, and then we'll have some news about the All-Star race. Wink, wink. As we look into season
All-Star
2,
race.
We are discussing an All-Star race event. Obviously, you've got SCORE and CCRS and CSCA and IFAR, all the leagues that you guys are probably aware of. NASCAR's heading to Dover, and that's looking ahead. We'll see what happens.
I got my oil changed recently.
Me too. Congratulations. Yeah. Did it myself.
Thank you. Same here.
Yep. Pretty wild. Felt like a.
What do you mean by did it yourself?
I'd never actually gotten under the car and changed my oil by myself. I've always taken it to a shop.
My definition's a lot different and more embarrassing.
No, I up until this point, I've always just taken my car to the shop.
Well, here's the thing. This is the first time I've ever actually made the appointment and gone there myself.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple times. Usually, I just go to a 10-minute Valvoline. But yeah, this oil change was the first time I actually got under the car. And
that's remarkable. That's great.
A little city boy here. Got my hands dirty.
City boy.
Got my hands dirty.
You live in Iowa now, son. You live in the Midwest.
I do.
You ain't no city boy anymore.
I'm learning the man life. So.
The man life.
Getting my hands dirty. But yeah.
You know it's a fantastic episode of a podcast when the NASCAR podcast is talking about oil changes.
Yeah. I mean, wild stuff.
We have oil changes. That is what we have had a great podcast.
Yeah. I guess one quick thing we can mention really quick, just for me personally, I really like this. Kyle Larson unveiled his Terry Labonte throwback today.
Dude, I think it's so sick.
It's so cool. For me personally, that's a very nostalgic
It's the best
scheme.
Next-Gen throwback. It's the best Next-Gen throwback we've seen.
I thought Chase had it. I really thought Chase had it, but Kyle Larson said no.
Yeah, that for me is probably my favorite throwback I've ever seen. My dad is perfectly fine. He's alive and living well, but it reminds me of my dad. Terry Labonte has always been his driver, that scheme specifically.
Yeah.
I've bought him
probably. My dad's always been a Terry guy.
Yeah, I've probably bought my dad 5 or 6 different Terry Labonte die casts of different versions of that paint scheme. So it means a lot to me. So I really like that paint scheme is going to be on track. So that's really about it. The link for Essex is always in the description. Please feel free to join Essex. We do late night Friday racing. It's a lot of fun. Season 1's ending soon. Season 2's about to start up. Probably late spring. So it's going to be fun.
I'm filling up my gas tank tomorrow morning for work.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have to fill my gas tank. I'm going on a road trip on Saturday, so
filling.
I'm going to have to fill that up. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say.
Next week, Braden's going to come on and be like, yo, guys, guess what? I changed my washer fluid.
Oh, wow.
Believe that shit, man? I changed my washer fluid.
So, yeah, if you guys have anything else to say.
Maybe I'll find out how to wipe my own ass.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
This is the Kona 2 podcast, everybody.
It's getting wild.
And he's gone.
Braden's gone, so I guess we're gonna wrap things up.
I
Great
guess so.
great episode again.
Total accident.
Great episode, guys. Had some fun here
Well
at the
done, everyone.
end. I'll see you guys on Friday. This episode should be out
evacuating.
tonight, early morning.
evacuating. He's evacuating.
Yeah. So
He's bailing.
if you guys made it this far,
possible.
thanks for dealing with us. And we'll see you next week. We'll have a lot to talk about league-wise. So
Wait, you haven't ended the episode yet?
yeah, that's the end. We hit the end of our list. Unless you have anything else to say.
Oh, no, I thought we ended already. We're still going.
No, we're wrapping things up.
Okay, well, okay.
We are,
All right.
we are still live, Braden. We're
All
still live, Braden.
We are still live for about 10
We're doing
more
this
seconds.
live. We're doing this live. God damn it.
So yeah, thank you guys again, and we'll see you next time. See ya.